Okay, so imagine this. A poem written thousands of years ago about a war that lasted a decade. It's got heroes, villains, gods behaving badly, and enough drama to make a reality TV show jealous. That's the Iliad in a nutshell, people. It's like the original superhero movie, but with sandals and swords instead of capes and lasers. Now, you might be thinking, why should I care about a bunch of ancient Greeks and Trojans duking it out? Well, here's the thing. Even though it was written forever ago, the Iliad is still relevant today. Why? Because it's about way more than just fighting. It's about human nature, the choices we make, and the consequences of those choices. Think of it like this. The Iliad is like the wise old grandparent of war stories. It's seen it all, heard it all, and it's got some serious wisdom to drop. And trust me, this ain't your grandma's bedtime story. This poem gets real, y'all. It doesn't shy away from the brutal realities of war, and it asks some tough questions that we're still grappling with today. So buckle up, Buttercup, because we're about to dive into the epic world of the Iliad. Get ready for epic battles, meddling gods, and some serious life lessons along the way. Let's be real, folks. War is messed up. It's violent, destructive, and people die. Homer, the dude who wrote the Iliad, doesn't sugarcoat it. He lays bare the horrors of war, showing us how it can turn even the bravest warriors into broken men. Imagine playing the most intense video game you can think of, but with real-life consequences. That's what the Iliad is trying to get across. It's a stark reminder that war is no game. But here's the crazy part. As much as we know war is bad, there's still something strangely captivating about it. It's like that feeling you get when you're playing a game with your squad and the pressure's on, but you're working together, relying on each other to survive. There's a sense of camaraderie, of purpose that's hard to find anywhere else, and that's what Homer captures so brilliantly in the Iliad. He shows us how war can be both repellent and alluring, how it can bring out the worst and the best in humanity. It's a paradox, man, but a powerful one that we still haven't fully figured out. One of the wild things about the Iliad is that the gods are constantly meddling in human affairs. They're like that one friend who loves to stir up drama, except their drama involves starting wars and messing with people's lives. So this begs the question, if the gods are pulling the strings, do humans even have free will? Are we really in control of our own destinies? Or is it all preordained? It's like that age-old debate, fate versus free will. Think about those chosen one stories we see all the time. Neo in the Matrix, Harry Potter, Luke Skywalker. They were all destined for greatness, right? But they still had to make choices that shaped their destinies. The Iliad throws this whole debate wide open. It makes us wonder if war is just an inevitable part of the human condition, something we're hardwired for, or if it's something we can choose to avoid. Section 4, respect the fallen. Even in war, there are lines you don't cross. Okay, so even in the midst of all the fighting and bloodshed, the Iliad teaches us a crucial lesson about respect. And it all goes down with Achilles, the supposed hero of the story. This dude goes full-on savage after he kills Hector, the Trojan prince. Instead of honoring Hector's body, Achilles drags it around like a trophy. It's brutal, disrespectful, and even the gods are like, dude, not cool. This moment highlights a fundamental truth. Even in war, there are lines you don't cross. It's about basic human decency, about recognizing the humanity of your enemies, even in death. Sadly, this is a lesson we're still learning today. We see it all the time. Soldiers mistreating enemy bodies, prisoners being tortured, civilians being caught in the crossfire. These acts are not only morally reprehensible, but also counterproductive. They breed hatred, resentment, and perpetuate the cycle of violence. The Iliad reminds us that true strength lies not in brutality, but in compassion, even towards our enemies. It's about holding on to our humanity, even in the darkest of times. Section 5. Have we learned anything? The Iliad's timeless lessons in a modern world. So after all this talk of war and bloodshed, you might be wondering, have we learned anything from the Iliad? Are we any better than those ancient Greeks and Trojans? The good news is that we've made some progress. We have international laws like the Geneva Conventions, which are like the rules of engagement for war. We also have organizations like the United Nations that are supposed to help prevent conflicts and promote peace. But let's be real, fam, we still have a long way to go. Wars are still raging around the world, driven by greed, power, and ancient hatreds. The Iliad serves as a powerful reminder that while times may change, human nature remains remarkably consistent. We still have the capacity for both great good and great evil. The challenge for us, as a global community, is to learn from the mistakes of the past and strive for a more peaceful future. It's a tall order, no doubt, but as the Iliad shows us, even in the darkest of times, there's always hope for redemption, for understanding, and for peace.